Hey everybody, welcome to Franchise Tagged. My name's Elijah. I'm one of the two hosts of the channel, and today I'm going to be going over my scouting report on UCLA edge defender Laiatu Latu. As a disclaimer before this video, I'm not a professional, as you can tell from my appearance. I do not have access to every rep of Laiatu Latu's college career, and I don't have any prior experience professionally evaluating college players. This is my first kind of endeavor into that kind of style of professionally evaluating a talent, and I hope that y'all join me through this scouting journey I go through here as I evaluate some of the upcoming talent in this NFL draft and see what insight I can give. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Quickly, I want to cover some background. Laiatu Latu weighs in at roughly 265 pounds, is 6'5", and statistically this past season he had 49 tackles, 21.5 tackles for loss, 13 sacks, and 2 interceptions while playing in all 12 games this season. Last year, 2022 campaign, he played in 13 games, registered 36 tackles, 12.5 tackles for loss, and 10.5 sacks. Before his 2 years with UCLA, he was medically retired for 2 years with a neck injury after playing a freshman season with the Washington Huskies in 2019. With that out of the way, I want to kind of get into how I'll be evaluating his tape. I understand that he's a pure edge rushing talent, but I would still like to consider some of his run defense reps when I evaluate him as a prospect, and this is something I like to do with all prospects I cover through the pre-draft process. I want to evaluate every player based on the whole of their tape in order to properly weigh it all together as one cohesive story. Okay, let's get into the run defense portion of his tape. While I don't peg him as an elite level run disruptor, a couple things did stand out to me in regards to his play. There are several instances where Latu is on the opposite side of an offensive play design, and while he may not be the one to make the tackle, he maneuvers the busy line of scrimmage well and avoids getting caught up on various blocks along the path. Another aspect for his run defense is his eye usage. He keeps his eyes in the backfield and is able to maintain good gap discipline. Thanks to this, he's also able to make plays on QB keepers and options, where there are more than a few examples where he would read a quarterback and know that the ball was about to be pitched and immediately start pursuing the running back. However, as you would expect with a pass rusher, there are more cons to his run defense than positives. He is often driven back on run plays if the opposing player is able to get hands on his chest. He does not do a great job tackling, and while that's not necessarily a run-only attribute, I'm going to get into it now. When engaged in a block, he does not have the reach to disrupt runners, and he also doesn't have great tackling when attempting tackles outside of his frame. Lastly, he lacks in pursuit speed to keep up with mobile quarterbacks and running backs on designed runs, and when matched up with some better blocking tight ends, he's often driven backwards. Now into the meat and potatoes of his playstyle. Laiatu Latu is an excellent pass rusher with a versatile bag of rush moves and counters. I'll start off with his strongest attribute, his hand usage. He has extremely strong hands and is able to strike quickly and decisively with them, using chop moves or his favorite, the cross chop. The cross chop is easily his top move, and it makes sense why. It wins so many reps for him, and it feels like he practices it in his sleep. However, as I mentioned, he has a deep bag of rush moves, and what I consider his greatest trait is he can seamlessly transition between them in a way that I can only presume gives opposing tackles nightmares. His ability to use his hands so quickly makes the transition a blur, and if he doesn't beat you on the first move, he will win on the second or third if it comes to it. That is another aspect of his pass rush which would worry opposing quarterbacks. He's relentless with his pass rush and chases the sack until the whistle. I did not see many pass rushes from him from the interior of the D-line, but from what I did see, he was still productive using swim moves from the interior. Another aspect to his game that was infrequent was his coverage ability. I won't claim to know all that there is to know about it, but from what I saw, he had a good break on pass catchers and was quick to rally to a tackle. I think that while you wouldn't opt for it, trusting him in coverage is something you could safely do in order to bring more diverse blitzes. With the positives out of the way, I will get into some of the negatives of his pass rush. As I mentioned previously, he does not have top-end pursuit speed, and I am interested to see how he tests at the combine. At times, he will over-pursue a quarterback within the pocket, allowing them to step forward and initiate a scramble. Due to a shorter reach, he can't always bring down the quarterback when strictly arm tackling, and I think he needs to be better at setting an edge and not allowing quarterbacks to extend and escape when he has them dead to rights in the backfield. Another part of that over-pursuing, he at times falls into and or is shoved into the dirt when he takes overly aggressive angles around tackles and under blocks. His biggest knock in regards to his pass rush moves is his bull rush. I didn't see him attempt it much, and it could be an underdeveloped move in his arsenal. A spin move could also fall into this boat, but I saw even less attempts of it than the bull rush, and I don't want to outright say that he can't do it, just that I didn't notice him. In conclusion, Laiatu Latu is a very exciting edge rusher in this draft, and if not for his medical retirement, he would be a no-brainer for a first-round selection. The intensive medical background checks that they do during the NFL Combine will be the greatest test of his draft stock, either causing it to skyrocket or to nosedive. His hand usage is a major part of why he will be at the top of some teams' boards, but his arm length and his overall size could be a deterrent for some teams to just completely take them off of their boards. His tackling needs improvement, his run defense is inconsistent, but his pure pass rush moves make him a weapon in the pass rush game, especially when you consider the fluidity and the transition speed he has into counters. I don't think you can really knock him for his run defense, especially if he were to go as a late round pick in the first. That's definitely a good spot to get him as a third down guy and transition him into getting some more reps. I think if you're a team looking to make an addition to your pass rush outside of the top 16 picks, Laiatu Latu is a no-brainer. And I was very impressed watching his tape. And with that said, I hope you guys really enjoyed watching the video. If you have any requests for me to go over some other players, leave them down in the comments. And if you have any pointers for scouting or anything like that, just throw those down in the comments as well. In closing, some clips in this video originated from a YouTube channel called Do a Barrel Roll. I'll have a link to him down in the description. He has some good cutups, which I use some on the screen. And I'll also have links in the description to my Twitter if you want to connect with me there. With all of that said, that's all that I had for this video, and I think I rambled enough at the end of this. So, deuces.